you're exposed to the heights of humanity on this thing. You like all the lavish
Mhm.
cars, all the prettiest things, and you go on this thing, and you kind of lose appreciation for the regular people, and it's so underappreciated to be regular now.
He's a 21-year-old music producer and artist from New Jersey. He's been featured on huge playlists like Spotify's Anti-Pop or Shonen, and you may know him from his songs Kill Them or Wish It Wasn't So. Please welcome Max Volante to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Thank you for the fucking dope intro. I'm doing well. How are you doing, my OG?
I'm doing well too. Excited to sit down with you. We talked a little off air that you're using a VHS camera, which I think is sick. It gives a
Yeah.
nice feel, gives a nice vibe to everything. Uh, First question, just to start off, what made you like fall in love with music, or what made you want to do music as a career?
Well, I wouldn't even say I want to do it. It's pretty hard, but it's like a compulsion. You could ask a lot of different artists, like they'll all say kind of a similar thing. Um, it's like a compulsion. People speak of purpose, divine purpose. It's a way of life. Truly, I've always been in tune to what the world is presenting me, and truly, I have no better way to express myself than through music. It's the one of the only times that I feel truly intact with like myself. It's like my one
Hmm.
way of learning about myself and connecting with the world. So that would probably be my answer.
Yeah. And so, if you felt like it was more divine intervention or whatever that made you pursue that, was there anything else you were considering for like a career path, or anything else you wanted to do in life?
Literally never. That's funny. I never. I mean, I actually do love driving, racing, driving, rally cars specifically, like off-road rallies. I don't know if you
Hmm.
know anything about that, but like um
I
you
know
need
of
quite a
it,
bit
but
of
I don't know too much about like the details of it.
it's fucking sick. It's like these guys, these guys, they race through the woods or whatever the condition is. They have them all over the world. It's like World Rally Tournament, and they race in these gutted cars that are super light and fast. And they have a guy next to them reading them instructions, and they're racing through these like crazy nature conditions. Anyways, that would be the only other thing I've ever considered than music, and I still actually am aspiring to do that. I just need a little bit more money to do it because you need a
Yeah.
lot to
And
get
so
into it.
you do you have any like experience, or like and any like have you done it before, or is it something you want to start getting
Never have
into?
I done it, but I can feel it in me because I do a lot of off roading. I have like this Volkswagen. I shouldn't be doing this in this car, but I do it anyway, and I just love the way it makes me feel. It's a thrill driving
Mhm.
fast off road. I love it.
Mhm. And so back to like the music, what tips or advice would you give to, other artists who are just starting music, just starting to release music?
Well, I don't have many answers. Um, I don't have any answers truly. But what I would say is don't listen to any advice at all because nobody really knows. And it's just confusing. Obviously, be aware of what people are saying and study the people who surround you and just study. Be in a constant state of being a student always. But I mean, just tap into your instinct. That's like, if I were to say one thing that I think it would be good advice, would be don't take any advice. Listen to your instinct.
Yeah,
That's probably, yeah.
yeah. And I guess like once you started making or releasing music, how did you come up with Max Volante as like the artist name that you were gonna release under?
It's a good question. I wasn't always Max Volante. It's a relatively new invention. I had a few different names before, like when I was in high school and university. Um, what Max Volante started probably around 2 years ago, but my name is Max. And I was like, okay, it'd be cool to be addressed by my real name, but have it be a character also. So I just kind of like was in the studio one night, and I think it was in New York. I was getting a photo shoot for this EP I made, and I just kind of like came up with it. Volante, I think, means to be driving or to be navigating in Italian. It's like it doesn't even need to be just a car though. It's like just behind the cockpit. I believe in certain dialects that's what it means.
Doesn't have
But
to be a
truly,
rally car.
actually, nah, it doesn't need to be a rally car. But also, my dad was in a band called Go Go Volante, and I was just like searching for names. It's like, ah, that's a cool word. So then I found the word. I was like, okay, let's put it together. And then I was like, ah, feels right. And then I just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, there is. I don't even know what it is, but there is something about like Max Volante that just sounds right and flows.
Right.
And I think
That's
I
what
think it's
matters.
yeah, and I think it's awesome that it's one of those artist names where like it also in this case it's not, but it sounds like it could just be a name. Like there could be someone just named Max Volante.
Exactly. Like people don't even realize it's not my real name. And I actually like that. I feel comfortable like that. I like that.
hmm And like just trying to learn more about you preparing for this, I could instantly see that you're like super creative. You do music, video editing, graphic design. What makes you so passionate about all these different outlets, and what sort of makes you want to, offer all of them?
Wish I don't have one answer, but I appreciate for note. Sorry, excuse me. I appreciate you for noticing the effort I be putting in on all levels more than just the music. Because to me, being an artist is more than just one medium. I do truly see it as like the way you write your words or in the what when you post something, when what way you do things. Every action has room to make it full of art and expression. You know, every single interaction with a person, it's like it has the potential to be something greater. Um, but I don't know. I just kind of feel compelled to take as much potential into my own hands as possible, like as much expression as I could possibly do. Because I think everybody would be doing a service to the universe to be trying to express their truest self in as many ways as possible, as often as possible. I think that's how we can get closer as a whole, become a unit, the human race. I think this is that leads to the path to the harmony and peace. So I'm just doing my service here as an individual human, and I do it. I hope other people follow. You know, take it in your hands. Do make your art as much as possible on as many different levels as possible, and don't be afraid to try shit. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's awesome. And like for I guess for your music, is there just like while in the studio, maybe just out and about, is there any person or another artist that really like inspires your music or your sound?
Everything. I love a lot of music. I love a lot. One person. Let me think right now. I mean, I always go back to the Beatles. Truly, it's kind of a little
hmm
cliche, but the Beatles are an incredible reference. I try to listen to the Beatles every day. Truly, I actually don't think I've missed a day of listening to the Beatles. Maybe ever. Beatles are a big one because on every level, just their writing, their performance, their ability on the instruments, and the technical side of it too, like their recording, mixing, it's just so fucking good. And it's a good reference. I like the Beatles. I also really like Playboy Cardi. I listen to Playboy Cardi a lot because the energy is so cool. I love the way he arranges his ad libs, particularly. And Playboy Cardi gets a lot of hate, and sometimes I say that and people hate on me, but Playboy Cardi is someone who inspires me a lot, and the Beatles, and a lot of other stuff, and all the people I fucking work with too. Like I only surround myself with people who kind of inspire me on some level. So, like Ethan Ross from New Jersey, hell yeah, that's the guy. Guy's a machine.
Yeah.
Ann Saunders, machine. New Jersey. Wise Boy Jeremy, New Jersey, machine. All these, and the list could go on. But like just the whole gang, I like to be around them because they inspire me.
hmm And it's like you have all these collaborators you love working with, but you also have like a good amount of just solo music on your own. Is there any sort of decision making you have that goes into whether a song's going to be solo or a collaboration, or do those sort of just come about naturally?
Good question. I try to keep like a blank slate every time I enter the studio. Um, and it's weird, brother. Like ideas, they just kind of emerge at their own pace. And every time I've had an idea that's actually uh, finishes its growth and reaches the world and is released, it's quite a magical process because you never actually understand that it's happening when it's going on. Like you'll be in the studio collabing with artists, you'll make the thing, and you're like in a trance, and then all of a sudden there's a thing made and it's ready. It's like what the fuck? But no, I don't think there's much planning. That's the thing. I actually think every time in my life where we've tried to consciously plan, it's never actually worked. The execution has always fell through before, and that doesn't mean not having an intent. Intent is different, but no, I'm not. I'm never really conscious about plans. They just kind of emerge naturally. You feel me?
Yeah, awesome. Are you a music artist trying to find a way to get your music on as many streaming platforms as possible? Then check out DistroKid. DistroKid is a super user-friendly and super easy-to-use service that will make your music available in stores like Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube, Snapchat, everything. Everything you could imagine, it's available. People will even be able to add your songs into their Instagram stories. DistroKid helps you with the distribution, monetization, and promotion of all of your music. Use the link in the description of this video for 7% off any DistroKid package you want. Pick from musician packages designed to help artists get their own music out there, or even get a label package where you can manage up to 100 artists from one profile. So that's more for like managers, labels, and you can also get the musician package that I mentioned earlier, which is more for artists, producers, things like that. And super easy, and you can get 7% off any package right now with the link in the description of this video. So once again, if you're looking for a way to get your music on as many streaming platforms as possible, I'm talking any platform you can think of, get DistroKid and get 7% off right now with the link in the description. Back to the program. With the VHS camera, Beatles Daily, it seems like you do have some connection or some roots in like sort of old school classic music.
Yeah.
Whereas now music is so much more advanced and open and accessible with like, every Apple computer you get has GarageBand where you can make an album on your own. Every
Yeah.
person probably has social media where they can share something they've made. How do you feel about it being so more accessible and just open to the public?
Mm. Well, it certainly has its pros and cons. One of the cons I would say, like just something that's coming to my mind immediately, is that there's a lot more to sift through, and I like to kind of use my enthusiasm as my compass. So like whenever I'm looking to collab or get inspiration, I simply just listen to what I just like wait to hear the thing that I'm like, ooh. And it doesn't need to be like, there just needs to be one cool thing about it. And it's like, for example, I don't do this much, but people have been reaching out to send me instrumentals, and I want to hear everything. Everything. I want it all. Like show me everything. But I realized that since it's so easy to make music, like yesterday I listened to 200 instrumentals in the Dropbox folder, and everyone was like, I couldn't find anything that was like cool. And it was like, oh damn, maybe 40 years ago this person wouldn't be able to make music because they hadn't grown to a level of skill that would allow them to. So it makes for a challenge where you have to sift through more. And like there is so much great music. That's the thing. I do believe that the coolest, most unique, best music is being made now. Like you can go on Spotify, dig and dig, and you'll find some gems, man. Real gems, like young kids making crazy music, all different types of shit. But then there's also so much more of just like, man, you know what I mean? Not being a
Yeah,
hater,
it's
but
it's
you know what I'm
gotten
saying?
so there's so much quantity now of music being released that I mean, sometimes, yeah, a song might not hit or like feel that special, but when you find you can still find ones that really, like, make you feel a certain way, and
Yeah,
even if you have to dig for them, they're still there.
yeah. There's a lot of music, a lot more music than there ever was. Um, but
Yeah,
there's also a
definitely.
lot of really good music and a lot of really boundary pushing music because like I'm like a kid kind of, not really, but like I can kind of I still feel like a kid when I'm creating, and I'm like this kid in this room that is kind of like this wizard who is working all this cool like machines, and I'm able to tap into a really deep part of myself with the help of machines and technology. And what that allows is like for me to be tapping into these new forms of expression uninfluenced by an audience or a pressure from another human, which isn't always bad. But for certain types of art, like the idea of being alone, making it all yourself, can tap into like something that previously, before the ability to do that, was unattainable to a certain extent.
Mhm. And I think that's probably in part also a reason that we're seeing so many more like independent artists or artists who you look through their songs and it's like written, performed, and produced all by them because they have they're using it as something very true and honest to themselves, something that only they could relate to. So how can they bring someone else in on something that's really about them and their experience?
Yeah, exactly. And that is certain points in life. Like obviously, there's no one right way to do it, but I do think there's a certain point where like art is so important, and the most important thing about it is expressing self. It's weird because it's a selfish act to some, but it actually is selfless because you dive into yourself all the way and then you reveal it to the world. And it's like revealing that part of yourself, that vulnerability, every single time is horrifying, bro. It's so scary. And like that's a beautiful thing about it is like you can do it kind of easy now. You could I made a song last week. I was going through a rough time and I woke up and having a rough time with a romantic relationship, and like woke up, grabbed a guitar, made a song, and by the end of the day, I made a cover art and sent it to my distributors. And if it was harder for me to do that, I would never release the song because listening back, then 3 days later, I'm like, oh God, this is a really vulnerable part of myself. And then I start second guessing, but it's already in motion, right? And that's like the good thing about it being so easy is that people don't have as many barriers to make them question if they should be vulnerable and put it out or not. Even though
Mhm,
it's still as scary, you kind of get coerced in a way into revealing yourself, which I think is actually good for the whole of humanity. I believe.
mhm. And so it seems like, I mean, you mentioned earlier you're listening to instrumentals. In this case, you just sort of had a moment where you just got up and were ready to write something. Do you have sort of one, like, creative process, or do you just sort of let a song naturally take shape?
Mm, good question. Go through kind of like pockets, like where I just got out of like a pocket where for like a week or two I was challenging myself to kind of write on the guitar or the piano, and like develop the track with the lyrics while playing the instrument because I realized I don't think I have any songs other than I think like there's like a two songs on my last album Escapism that were written on an instrument, but I wanted to do more of that because I have some friends where like you'll go out with them or you go hang out in the studio and they'll be like, yo, I want to show you a song I wrote or a song I'm working on, and they'll pick up the guitar and I'll be like, "Oh, that's cool. Like you have the song anywhere. You don't need your Dropbox file or your
Yeah.
like you could just pick up this guitar and play this song and sing it." And I was like, I want to try that because I previously really bad at that, and I've done live shows and I did not enjoy it because I'm just simply not good enough yet. So I was like pushing myself. And I wrote a bunch of good songs, recorded some too. But now I'm kind of in a strange pocket where anything's going. Now I'm out of that pocket, but not forever. there's no one way, and I think
Yeah.
it's dangerous when you get into one way. I've witnessed a lot of people go through certain stages in their lives and careers where they get in a way, and especially when you're doing have like a habit, like a creative process that becomes a habit, and it's reinforced by some sort of success, whether it be numbers or people, your fans enjoy it, anything. It's a little dangerous because then it can kind of trick you into thinking that that way should be static, um, which I think leads to, it just doesn't lead to a state of growth. And if you're not in a state of growth and pushing boundaries, you're kind of in a state of decay. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know if that's good for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And like it 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 seems from your music that you also are comfortable trying out different sounds, different genres when making music. What
For sure.
sort of makes you comfortable enough to branch out and experiment so much rather than just like do what you know you can do?
Mm. I will tell you, actually, it's a drive to be uncomfortable. I hate to be comfortable. I know it's wrong. And I'm aware it's not good to feel comfortable. I've seen it. I've seen what it does. Um, so if I feel like I'm getting in a groove, I'll kind of like do some shit to get out of it, like to do something where I'm actually uncomfortable because I'm struggling. Like, fuck, I've been recording this song all day and I don't like it yet. But it's good because you start to realize it's like the gym. Like, you can't lift this weight this week, but maybe 2 weeks later, you got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think also if you're finding that with this song, like oh, it's just not right, or you keep working on it, maybe you yourself don't realize it, but like if anyone else was there to hear it, it probably would also show the song getting better and better over time. Each time you say that, like, oh, let me do
Yeah.
that again, or let me change this one thing, it's getting one step closer to what it really is or should be.
And then, yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes the thing that it really is, or the place that it should end, actually turns out to be the journey from the start to that place, like the in between, the figuring out of it. Like, I'll give you an example. Um, most of the time, I don't choose to do this, but most of the time when I begin a song, it's like random, and I'll just be making something on my computer, and then I'll be like, oh, melody. I'll pull up a vocal rack and start recording, just like fucking around. And so most of my songs, they're written while recording it. And this one song I was making uh 2 or 3 days ago, really like it, one of my favorites. I I was screaming, so it was like I'm tapping into like this rock star cadence. Finally
Yeah,
figuring out how to do this like rock star cadence that it's really sick, but it's also very physically demanding. So you
yeah,
can't sit
definitely.
there and like do it 10 hours because I've been in the studio with certain people who make certain types of music where they're able to kind of record the same part of the song over and over and over, and it's not taxing them because like it's they're no 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 no. It's like you could do that shit like 30 fucking times and be fine. But this
Yeah,
particular song, I had to be smart because every single piece of a song, I try to think of it like what energy is attached to that. How ecstatic was I recording that piece? And like I realized that I was listening to the song, working on it piece by piece, and then like there was one part I was like, oh, this lyric, um, it would be better if it was this other lyric. So then I tried recording it, and I'm like, okay, it sounds fine, but I know that the energy of the other take, while I was still figuring it out, was dripping with enthusiasm. It was like, you could feel my excitement. So I was like, okay, we need to actually sacrifice this lyric for the energy of that take because that holds the story. The
mhm.
part of me getting to that point was the actual thing that it was supposed to be. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah,
what's up.
yeah, it's awesome that, like, you're so conscious of, like, the, emotion or, like, the energy that each vocal take has, and that helps you
Every
decide
instrument.
what what to keep in a song.
Yeah.
Once you've put out a song or released a song, is there any song of yours that sort of performed better or worse than you initially thought it would?
Yeah. My most recent track, this moment, for some reason, God bless God, but like I put it out. I made a song in like 2 days basically. Me and my friends were out for drinks, and we got back to the studio, and they didn't even make music, so they were hanging out on the couch, and I was like, just started like shake playing my percussion instruments and recording, and like all of a sudden I picked up the bass guitar, boom, 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 and I put that and did the piano, the synth, and then I was like, okay, guys, that's it for tonight. And then the next day, woke up, played it, got the melody in my head, sang it. Somehow the song emerged, and then that night, sent it to all my team, and people were like, "Yo, this is really cool." So then I'd send it to be released, and then started to doubt it. This always happens. Like I send it to be released, and then doubt it. Oh gosh, it's a fucking terrible feeling, because then the music changes. You listen to it, and it just doesn't sound the same. It's just part
Yeah.
of it. But I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh gosh, this shit sucks. Nobody's gonna like this. I'm really scared. And then, anyways, it comes out, and I was in the studio with my friend, I think Jeremy, and I was like, yo, is it bad that I like dropped a song and didn't tell anybody? He's like, no, I do it all the time. So then like didn't tell anybody that the song released on Friday. And by the time Monday comes around, people started finding it and posting it. And then I was like, okay, I have a little more energy now. So like in a way, these people gave me the energy. And I start reposting theirs. Then I started like really pushing it just because I was like, oh wait, people like it. And then that song actually started performing crazy, like the best song I ever had performed yet. And I didn't spend a single dollar on it, didn't plan any promotional thing. I just put it out and doubted it so much, had absolutely no intention. And this song got placed randomly on any pop, right? Like within
Yeah.
2 weeks on any pop. What the fuck? And then it got on. Then it just like started doing really well, and then it got on like the indie Fresh Finds, and then it got on the big Fresh Finds playlist, like the huge one, seemingly randomly, but it's not random because sorry, hold on, we're back. Okay, but
We're
yeah,
back.
so that was an instance of a song that really surprised me. Like I literally had no idea, and then another song that surprised me by how, and it's a super dope track, but the song "Wish It Wasn't So," it didn't perform as good as I thought, and I think that was the problem. Was I was expecting it to perform really well, and I remember like redoing the verse a bunch of times over the course of a few months because I was afraid. I was like, "Oh, it will perform better if I do it this way." But I was young. I'm still learning, so these are all mistakes. But I realized you cannot be thinking about how it's going to perform when you do it. Sometimes you get lucky, other times you don't. And but those
Yeah.
are two instances I was surprised with.
Yeah. I've found that you can't really do that releasing music because one, it's going to change the way you make the song, or like while it's whether it's in production doing vocals, it's gonna change all that. But then also like it's the whole point that I have this question that I ask people, because no matter what you do, there are gonna be songs that do better or worse than you think it was, because it's impossible to perfectly predict how a song's going to do.
For sure. For
And
sure.
so I guess uh with all your music, is there any one sort of like overall message you're trying to send, or is it just different from song to song?
I think the message is one that I'm unaware of at this point. I think maybe 20 years from now, I'll be able to look back and see what this kid was trying to do. Right now, it's life art, brother. Life art. Life is art. Every single thing that you've ever felt is an opportunity to channel it to art. And I just like to show people my prism of self, like my expression. I think ultimately I'm doing it for the good of the world, not on any arrogant shit, but like truly, I just feel like I'm doing this for out of love, and that's the message. Do shit out of love. It's just
Mhm,
yeah. I don't have a specific theme. It's kind of tough for me to put together a theme, to be honest. Just kind of let it
mhm,
happen. Working
mhm.
on that though. I'd like to be better at that. Like coordinating some kind of message, and putting it together in an album. But I'm growing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just for now, it definitely seems like you can be a collaborative person. You're open to collaborations. If you got this like great opportunity to make a song with any artist in the world, who would you want to make a song with and why?
Hmm. I would love to be produced by Rick Rubin. Um, but I
Mhm.
also I think Tame Impala, Kevin Parker, that would probably be number one. He's a
Yeah.
fucking. I was listening to.
Two great
I'm a big
producers.
I'm a big fan of Tame Impala. I saw him in this stadium in March last year, and
Oh
it
yeah.
changed my whole fucking life. It was the best musical experience I've ever had. It just sounded so good. But I remember listening to his album, The Slow Rush, and I think the song was "It Might Be Time to Face It," and I just like was listening in my headphones, my eyes closed. I was like, whoa! If I walked into a studio and there's a guy making this and he was like playing it on the speakers, I would like cry. I would cry. I would like actually cry at how sick it sounds. I cry a lot when I hear great music, and like
Yeah.
Tame Impala, yeah, that would be it. I hope you hear this
Yeah.
one day, Tame Impala. I hope you hear this because I really look up to you, and I would love to cook up. It could be very fruitful.
Mhm. Yeah. No, definitely two great producers. I haven't heard too much of Tame Impala, but I have heard a couple things that Rick Rubin's worked on, and he's also great just with the whole like compound and studio he has. Um,
Yeah, Rick's great.
so many great like songs and albums have been worked on in there, and it's funny that you mentioned that you cry to good music a lot because for me that's sort of like when I know that a song like means something to me or is a really good song, it makes me emotional and makes me
Yeah,
cry and stuff.
the song doesn't even need to be sad. It just needs to be beautiful. It
Yeah,
strikes a nerve.
there have been pop songs that I've cried to, just because
Yeah,
it's good and has a great message.
yeah, man.
And
Sorry. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I was just gonna
Nah, I don't
go.
wanna. I don't wanna. I feel bad. I cut you off.
Okay, okay. I was just gonna say that like it seems that just like the whole I don't even know how to put it. Just like making sure music is also an experience for people who listen is very important to you. Do you have any idea like live show or venue that you would just love to perform your music at?
That's a good. I. It depends on with who.
Mhm.
I don't like performing alone anymore. I used to do sets where I would like be like controlling my synthesizers uh, and mixing the songs live and singing it. And I was so caught up in all of the technicalities where I literally wasn't able to connect with the audience. And I felt it sucked, honestly. I didn't like it at all. It didn't feel fun. It didn't feel like the right delivery mechanism. Um, Obviously, I would love a stadium because I love the way that Tame Impala sounded in the stadium. It truly may have been the best music I've ever heard in my life. Not just the songwriting or the performance, but the sonics, the
Yeah.
sound
The
system was
acoustics and the
so
way it's
good.
playing through the speakers to
Mhm.
the stadium.
Yeah, it was spectacular because it was the loudest shit you ever heard, but it was also didn't hurt because it was so well balanced. It was truly like my physical body was being cleansed by sound. So if I could do that with my music and on a stadium sound system, that would be oh gosh, I would love that so much. And I hope to work to get to that point.
Mhm.
But it depends on with who. Like
Yeah,
I want to do it with my friends and stuff too. You know.
yeah. And just so far with your own music, is there a song of yours that's your favorite, out right now or one that you're working on right now?
The one I'm working on right now called Used by You is really good. Um, I'm gonna drop it soon. I like it a lot. I think it's my favorite one I've done. But I like This Moment a lot. And I also like Kill Them, even though I don't sing on Kill Them. It's a fucking vibe. That's that New Jersey sound. I like Kill Them a lot. Let me see. Let me see. I like a lot of these things. This moment's very good. Am I missing something? Last song in Escapism. That one I cried while recording it. I think it might be the only song where I was crying as I was recording. That song's a special one. I was really sad, and it was a beautiful expression. I did that song live. It was really nice too. I would say probably Am I Missing Something? This Moment. Good tracks, but yeah, I don't know. Kind of
Yeah,
changes.
yeah,
What about
yeah,
you? What are a
awesome.
couple tracks that you resonate with that you found?
I mean, not there. I would say there's a difference. Kill Them, I really like just from like sort of like you said, the sound, the vibe, the feeling I get from listening to it. And then honestly, I did just like I liked the like the message I think or like the songwriting of Goodbye or This Feels Like Goodbye.
This feels
That
like
one.
goodbye. Sorry,
Yeah.
that title's. I make these titles kind of like purposely unmemorable.
I mean,
Like,
no, but like it's cool and it definitely like looking through like your song titles, I could already just tell that like you are sort of like you said, just an artist overall. There's, you know, all caps, there's all lower caps, there's
yeah,
parentheses, there's just anything
I'm
that like
struggling with that right now actually because I for some reason they're enforcing the rules more. Excuse me,
mhm,
particularly Apple Music. They're enforcing the rules, and it fucking makes me angry because in my computer I'm very specific about that, like the caps, the symbols, the spacing. I'm very specific because they completely, for me at least, they completely change the way I perceive the art, the
definitely, yeah.
words, the capitalization, and I'm struggling with it. It's really frustrating me right now with my releases because this next one I want it to be how I want it, and it's like why can't it be like that? It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand what's to gain. I don't understand why they have to enforce standard
And
capitalization.
yeah, I get that, and I don't understand what could be so complicated from a technology standpoint about like
Yeah,
having exactly what the name is, because
yeah, it's frustrating.
yeah, yeah,
Stupid. I
um,
hate it. I get really frustrated about that stuff. Maybe
yeah,
it's designed to do that to me. I don't know. But, but yeah.
um, and then just anything like you have coming up. What sort of next for Max Volante, or what's the next project that people can expect to hear?
I don't know. Been working on an album, kind of. Been working on a ton of music for months, and I don't know honestly. Things seem to be kind of coming together, but I couldn't tell you a concrete plan. I never really do have one, other than like
Yeah.
keep making music and put it out if it feels right. Actually, I am dropping. I don't know when this is gonna come out. When is this gonna drop?
Probably I would say within 2 weeks from today.
Okay. Well, 2 days from today, I'm dropping new music, but I didn't even tell anybody. I'm very random with it. It's kind of works for me.
Yeah, but I like that. So that'll
It
be
kind
for
of
anyone
works.
listening, that'll be I mean, it'll already be out, but on January
Yeah.
25th, it'll be out
Hmm.
without telling anyone.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I be doing. I don't know if it's the best idea, but it's the only way I could do it right. So,
Mhm,
what about
mhm.
you, bro? What's tell me a little more about yourself. Let me interview you for a moment, eh?
Okay, okay. Make this your
All right.
podcast.
First off, yeah. That's right. That's right. We're doing a Jersey shuffle. Okay. So, so state your name one more time for me, so I don't
I'm
fuck it up.
heroic. So it's just
Heroic.
the adjective heroic, it's just spelled funky.
Interesting. Your parents gave you that name?
No, 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 that's just what I use
Oh,
online. I'm
oh,
Ryan.
that's the
Just no.
alias.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Ryan.
It's the
I'm
artist
gonna call
name.
you heroic.
Okay,
Okay, I got
okay.
you. I respect it. How old are you, if you don't mind disclosing?
I'm 18.
Youngin,
Yeah.
youngin. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Um, 18. So you're in high school, last year of high school or junior
Last
year?
year of high school, yeah. Getting ready
Mm.
for college next year.
Oh, going to uni. Okay, what uni are you planning to go to?
I'm gonna say it's in California. I'm not gonna
Oh,
say which one just yet, but I'm gonna say it's in
fair.
California.
I respect it. Cool. So are you based out of Cali?
So I was born there, grew up there,
Nice.
and then at 13 moved from there all the way to New York now, where I am. And so
Hey.
it's been like that moment was like interesting right after the move, but now I'm sort of at a point where like there are things I like about New York, things I like about Cali, and I think Cali's probably the one I prefer. So
I like Cali a lot. I'm actually about to go back out there in the next week. It's fantastic. I love it out there.
nice. Yeah.
So you're in New York City?
Yeah, a little outside the city.
Vibe. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so you said moved at 13 from Cali to New York.
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay,
yeah.
let's talk about biggest difference in the people.
In the
Let's see.
people,
In the
um,
people. What would you say?
I really don't know because it's like one. I was in Los Angeles in California, so both like going from Los Angeles to like right outside New York, it's like people are the same and like everyone has something they want to do or like some
Yeah.
side hustle business. Everyone's ready to like do something outside of just the normal 9 to 5, which I like because that's who I am and that's what I'm looking for. But differences in people, I think I would just say New York is probably just slightly more organized, I guess, or everyone likes to have a schedule or a structure to their day, whereas in Los Angeles, don't get me wrong, there were still people like there, still things that operated like that, but they were much more open to just making plans sort of on the spot.
Yeah, I noticed that too, for sure.
Hmm.
Um, something about Cali, people are much more like loose. I think it
Yeah.
might be the weather or the spirit of the land, whatever it is. Oh,
Oh my God! Again,
it's fine, it's fine.
we were on such a good roll.
No, it's okay, it's okay. It's part of the effect. That's
Yeah,
what makes it unique.
it's part of the experience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, Cali's dope though. The people definitely behave different because of I think the weather or some shit. It's just nice as fuck there.
Yeah.
It's different. New
Yeah.
York's cool too though. Like New York, a lot of pretty people in New York and LA, but New York, I realize like a lot of people are very pretty and like, they wear cool shit. They wear really cool shit. You know, yeah. LA, I love
They
the
wear stuff you
localers.
won't see anywhere else.
Yeah, it's like that. I think New York is they have like great imports. I think they import the very best of everything in the world, like whether it be food, clothes, anything. They just import
Hmm.
the best shit.
Yeah.
And maybe LA is maybe a little bit of the opposite, where they're actually the exporters of entertainment and art. Like everyone in LA is always working on art, movie,
Yeah.
music. They're just working. New York, I feel like, yeah, people are working for sure, for sure. Don't get me wrong, but I think there's the thing with New York that makes it so special is they import the greatest things from all over the world,
Yeah.
from all different parts of the world. And I don't know if you could. I mean, LA kind of, but it's not necessarily that the same volume as New York.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
not the same effect. All right. Well, I mean, is that all you had for me? I've asked everything. I have nothing else prepared, but like I'm down to keep going if you are.
All right, let's see what's been going on in the world recently. Let's see what
What's
was going
happening?
on. Let's see.
Let
Hold
me
on.
just open up like recent news and see what happens.
Yeah. I won't speak on this forbidden one, Mr. Tate, because we could get in trouble for speaking on him. But that's
Yeah,
a big one
YouTube
to
might not
talk
like that.
about. The forbidden one. I'll call him the forbidden one.
Voldemort.
Okay. The Earth's inner core may be reversing in this rotation. I don't even think the news is. What do you think of this life? Let me ask you this. Let's fuck that shit. What do you think of this life so far? I'm gonna kind of outline a premise of thinking, and maybe we can follow it.
Okay.
Yesterday, or not yesterday, but very recently, I was meditating, and in my mind, I was trying to think back to when I was 5 or 6, and I was trying to think back to being in kindergarten, and if I could have ever imagined this life nowadays, where I look at a computer every single second of every day, like I'm always on a computer, a little propaganda rectangle,
Yeah.
and everywhere you go, there's a screen that you're looking at, bruv, everywhere. And all
Every,
of our entire lives are within this digital domain. And I was trying to think
yeah.
if I could have ever imagined this, and the answer was a no. I don't think if we really were true with ourselves, not many people could imagine this reality nowadays. And this
Yeah.
reality is fucking very wacky. What do you think? Do you think it's good?
I agree. I think it's crazy. I think I sort of agree with you. I could see, because I mean, basically, since I was growing up, there has been technology of some sort. It was nowhere near this level, but there was technology, and I feel like you have a point where I probably could have guessed that it would be integrated in life, but probably not to this point. Not to this point. Not to the point where like I'm going to school and there are like screens in each classroom. You know, teachers are for a while with the pandemic. School is online, like for everyone. It's just you're on screens like this talking to people.
I went to uni during the pandemic. My first year, the end of my first year, I think, was March 2020. It was my birthday. I remember it was my 20th birthday, 19th birthday, and I remember that was the day when they sent all the kids home. And life was so different after that. Now
did they tell you how long you were home for?
Like 2 weeks or some shit.
Yeah, I have a memory. It was on. I think we got it on like a Wednesday or something, and they like on a Wednesday or Tuesday night, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna close for the rest of the week. You're gonna have the weekend. We'll come back in on Monday." And then on like Friday or Saturday, they were like, "You know what? Next week we're gonna be done. After that, we're back. We promise." And then like a year later, we were on Zoom, just for that entire time.
Weird. It's so strange where we are now, and it's like we're so funny how humans adapt, because you don't notice the change. You just you become it. It's like with everything, you just become it.
Yeah, and so many people now are like, or could feel like it's coming to an end or over, and things are back to normal, and those same people have such different lives because they're doing so much more online. Like there are so many people who are like, yeah, I'm going back to work in the office, but what they don't say is I'm going back to work in the office half of the week, and the other half I can just do at home now. And I think there's a lot more of that after the pandemic.
I want to go off of that about the workforce. I'm noticing I go out in the world and I go to the store. I need shit. Like let's say I need to go to the store and get a new mouse, and I go to Best Buy, and there's like fucking 2 employees, and none of them want to fucking help. And I'm like, everywhere I go, there's nobody that. First off, there's barely any people that are working for these companies anymore. Minimal staff force everywhere you go, or at least me personally. And the employees themselves, they could give a fuck about doing their job well. Like I used to get bugged by a good salesperson, but now I wish somebody would sell me something, save my time, show me what I want. Right?
I was just listening to another podcast like this that's like, we have to be careful because we're so close to, like, when you think about it, the fact that there are already thoughts about or jokes about like you order from something from Amazon, like robots in the factory make it, and then a drone delivers it. No humans whatsoever. So
Yeah,
now apply that to
that's
like
what it's gonna be, bro.
Amazon, Walmart, all these things. Think of how many people are no longer going to have their jobs, or their jobs won't be reliant on humans, and it's
Yeah.
scary to think about.
Yo, it's crazy when you go to get food. I don't condone the consumption of fast food, but sometimes it's late, you get home from the studio or some shit, you need to get McDonald's or whatever is open, you have to eat.
Hmm.
And so you go and anywhere you go, or Starbucks particularly is wild. I remember like the 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 volume of orders that come into places is so high that these workers are getting paid the same as before, but they are working so hard, bro,
Yeah,
to prepare this food. They're putting in all these bags, DoorDash, drive through, real life. If you go to the Starbucks and order a coffee, they are so occupied with the volume of orders that came through the phone.
yeah. They're like, let me
And it's
finish
just
the
more and
three
more.
coffees before you, and then I'll get you yours.
Yeah, these humans, they're being pushed to the max. I really respect people that work like those types of jobs because
Yeah,
they are being
definitely.
pushed and exploited to their max right now. And the thing with it is it's cool. It feels good to work hard, right? But it's also nice for like a little pat on the back. I'll be honest. Like another human.
It's
And when you order online, it's like these people are just kind of like these slaves in a way. Like they just do the work and they get no connection out of it.
yeah.
They barely get any
It
money. It's
something I
all
want
on the
to add on
phone.
to that. It's
Go ahead.
good to work hard. It's bad to be overworked. And so you gotta find like that line of at what point does it become like grinding, hustling, working hard, and does it become like I'm stretching myself too thin, I'm working too hard and not getting enough out of it.
Right. I feel like these people don't get enough out of it, truly.
Yeah.
And respect them. I respect people. Where was I the other day? I was at the grocery store. Was getting some groceries, and I pulled the. I'm super. I fuck shit up sometimes. I just am very. I'm kind of weird, bro. In a weird way. I'm just
I
like
get it.
out
No,
in the. I'm
I'm an
out in the world
awkward
like
person in real life.
I'm like I wouldn't even say awkward. I'm just like a kind of a brash, interesting character that kind of does things that are just fucking random. So I'm like at the self checkout, frustrated because I don't like dealing with the machine. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll be at the store, I'll be at the store and you know what Wawa is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, for those who don't know about Wawa out in the world, Wawa is the go-to. It's the best convenience store slash gas station you could possibly fathom. Fantastic. Couldn't say a bad thing about Wawa. Fantastic. Legendary run. I think it's only on the northeast of America. Upper north, yeah. But anyways, I'm at the Wawa and there's these new screens they put in, self-checkout. And I'm like, all right, what the fuck is this? And I'm looking at the person working the counter, restocking the cigarettes. And I got my little thing, my little receipt, blah, blah, blah. And I'm walking up. I'm like, yo, looking at him in the eye, I'm ready. Like, oh, you ready to do your job? And I'll tell you, like, how are you? And you'll be like, good. And I'll be like, oh, I'm good too. I'll be like, thank you. Have a good night. They'll be like, you too. Because that shit is nice. I love that
Yeah.
little interaction. Because I love shit like that. And they're looking at me. They're like, fuck off. And I'm like, damn, I'm really gonna have to use this machine. And I just like the missing of the human
What
connection.
Yeah,
Is
no, what blew my mind, I can't remember where it was, but I think at, like, some grocery stores, like, some, like, employees, I think, like, they have mostly self-checkout, but there are still
yeah.
people, stocking aisles, like, cleaning up any messes, and if like, I heard somewhere that at some places you ask them for help, and they're, like, trained or instructed to guide you to self-checkout and, like, send you to the machine and
Uh,
be like, "Do this." And it's like, "Can
dude,
you
it
just
makes me want to
in the same
die.
amount of time, can you just go to this counter and check my stuff out?"
I just think we get more, both of us, two humans, we get more out of connecting with each other. Like,
Yeah,
okay, maybe we'll save 10 seconds and a little bit of mental energy, but I think ultimately the human interaction replenishes whatever we expend. We like even more. It's, I think it's important to connect. I think it's so
yeah.
valuable. it's like an amplification of our energy when we connect, or at least has the potential to be. What I wanted to say at the Acme, I remember what I was saying, and I was doing the self checkout, and the receipts coming out, and I'm like, fuck this, and I pulled it hard. I didn't expect this to happen, and I wasn't angry, but I was like what the fuck? I was like, I don't need this. So I pulled it out really hard, and the whole roll of receipts came out and all over the floor, and everyone's looking at me. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. And there's a worker there, the person watching, the Gestapo officer or whatever, and they're looking at me, and I'm like, damn, okay, I'm gonna help you with this. Let's figure this out. And they're like, no, please, just you're good, go, I got it. And I was like, they didn't want me to leave, but they were like, yo, I'll do my job. Like, I got it. And I was like, are you
Yeah.
sure? They're like, yeah, it's nothing. I got it. And I was like, walking out the store on my way to make some great music. And I was like, wow, I really respect that person for cleaning up my mess and like being so gracious about it. And there are people like that all over that serve society in that way. And I feel as if that is a big reason that what I want to say is I feel like they are underappreciated at this time. And especially in the age when you go on this phone and you look on YouTube or social media and
The
you're
infinity
exposed to
box.
all of the when you're exposed to the heights of humanity on this thing, you like all the lavish cars, all the prettiest things, and you go on this thing and you kind of lose appreciation for the regular people. And it's so underappreciated to be regular now, even though it provides such a vast value for society. So
Yeah.
people are less incentivized to do these jobs. That's why you go to the Best Buy and there's two people that won't help you, or they don't want to help, or whatever it may be. And it's an interesting world because there's this Mac Miller lyric. Are you familiar with Mac Miller?
Not too familiar. No.
He says
Uh,
on his
yeah.
album Faces, he says, internet rappers ain't shit when no computers work. And I'm like, okay, interesting. He's right. What if all the computers stop working? It's like always a good thought exercise to think, okay, right now, what if all the computers in the world stopped working? What would happen? I always think about
I'll
this.
tell
And
you
I
what,
think
there would be
right,
a whole lot less music being released because so many
right,
people like make everything on their
exactly,
computer. Like I
exactly.
was talking about in my latest episode of this podcast, the last guest I had on, Chad Lewine, he was saying we were talking about how you no longer need instruments to make music. You get a computer
Yeah, yeah.
and you get yeah, and it won't show up here. You get a plug-in keyboard like this,
Controller.
and you just plug it in. You don't need to know how to play an actual piano. Just plug that
Yeah.
in, or you get. I have also like a little beat pad or drum pad over there.
Mhm.
You get one of those. You don't gotta know how to play the drums, but now you have infinite drum sounds.
Yeah. I actually use most of the time I just use the MacBook keyboard.
Yeah, yeah, that works too.
But I
And
actually
so,
like that a lot. I think it's cool for what it is. Like I do think the MacBook, oh I fuck, not a MacBook, but a computer, but I'll just say I'll call it computer MacBook. But I think the MacBook is like an infinite instrument in its own right. It is
yeah,
not meant to be viewed as it is such a valuable thing, a fucking amazing creation of
until
humanity.
until I like really got into music or passionate about music, I didn't realize how many music resources come with like a MacBook. Like
Yeah.
you get GarageBand for free. You like you said, you got the keyboard on like the letters turn into like keys that you can use. You have if you want to get like Logic that's used in the industry by so many like big artists.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Fuck, I hate Logic. I'll diss Logic. I
what do
diss
you
it.
use?
Bro, you wanna get right?
Hit me.
Tell me if you wanna get right or if you wanna get wrong.
I want to get right.
All right, come to this side. Come to Ableton. Come to Ableton, baby boy. Come on.
That's where my drum pad is from. That's where my drum pad's from
Come
Ableton.
come to Ableton. I'll show you a good time at Ableton. This is where
All
the
right,
big dogs hang.
all right.
Now I actually got the live push. I don't use it much. You know what that is though? The live push. It's fire. Here, I'll show you. Elite. Shit's fire. Ableton sponsor me. I fuck with you so much. Ableton is the shit. I've been in the
Yeah,
studio where people use Logic, and I'll be like, "Yo, we need to do this. We need to manipulate the sound in this way right now,
and they're like,
quickly."
oh, I can't do that.
I can't do it. They'll be like, "Yo, I don't." No disrespect to them, it's not their fault, but it is because they use Logic. But it's like, no disrespect though, no disrespect. I got love for everybody, but I'll be like, "Damn, we're just missing out on ideas because you don't use Ableton." So I'm anti-Logic.
All
It's
right,
gonna get
all right.
controversial.
Well,
Nah,
hey,
I'm
I'll
not
keep it
into
in
it.
mind.
Whatever
I'll keep it
works,
in mind.
whatever works. Truly, whatever works for
Yeah,
you. But what were we saying? We're talking about the MacBook and using. Okay, what happens when new computers work? What
yeah.
happens?
I
What
think
happens?
the
How do
world
we?
gets to a really bad place.
Right.
Because if you
What
like,
happens?
people think about computer, they think about either like desktop or laptop. But then you think about it, this has a computer in it. Gaming
It is
consoles
a
have a
computer.
computer in it. All these things have like the phone is was made to just be a mini version of the computer.
Yeah. But it's all powerful. You can do so much with this phone, dude. It's
Yeah.
crazy. My whole life is on this phone. All my money gets made on this phone. Um, all the people I talk to are through this phone. Not always. I mean, I don't have like a real
This phone
life,
and
but
this
I realize
computer are why I'm sitting here talking to you right now.
yeah, gee, it's crazy. And you found me. And oh my gosh, somebody said to me, somebody I met through the phone that found me because of the algorithm on Spotify, right? It's like, anyways,
Yeah.
somebody said this to me. They were like, yo, the algorithm's gonna pick the song up because I sent them a demo. And I was like, wow, we are dictated by these algorithms. Like these algorithms we've designed have snowballed based off of our own input, our own response to things like and have
And
grown
they
like their own intelligence and now dictate the culture. It's crazy,
because
G.
I'm really into like the YouTube algorithm and the YouTube side of it. And
Yeah, YouTube's
like
fine.
I talk to other people who upload and they're like, yeah, each time like we know that the algorithm changes, like we have to step back and see how or if we have to change our uploads or change the way we use YouTube in any way. And it's crazy that like if you are like a YouTuber and that's like what you do, if the algorithm changes, it's you gotta reframe everything, check it all out, and see if there's any new way you can like maximize it to your best advantage.
I think it's crazy because what changes the algorithm? Is it the people? What manipulates the algorithm? Obviously, there's a few different things, but ultimately, who's in control? Really in control? That's what I want
Yeah,
to know. Is this shit being manipulated to like steer the entire population in a certain direction? I don't know, bro.
I don't
Seems
know.
very well that it could be possible. What do you think?
We're getting into conspiracy grounds now.
Well, this is not. It's just real life, bro. Like this is
Yeah, yeah.
just we're just thinking thought exercises,
The
and
question of who controls it, is there someone controls it? Are they trying to steer us? That's the question. When you start theorizing about who that is, that's a little more conspiracy.
because I have a theory. Maybe there is. It's not possible that a person or a group of people could even control this thing. Maybe this thing is like maybe this thing is a machine that is all interconnected and
Simulation theory.
conscious. No, like it's more simple than that. It's like maybe this machine, like all just think about it. The algorithms, they all have these indexes of knowledge, and maybe they're like all connected in a way and like behaving and controlling this thing of ours or like influencing us. Like I was looking at the TV screen in there or my YouTube and I have broke people YouTube. I don't know how to actually get YouTube Plus. I probably should get that. But anyways, the ads were like showing me a person like with their phone, showing the phone to the screen. And I was like, this is crazy. The machine has influenced the humans to advertise the machine. And I'm like, what if it's not possible that one person or one group of people controls this thing? Maybe this thing is out of human control. Maybe we created
Yeah.
this machine, much like the Matrix movie. Maybe like that is where we're at right now. And the thing about that is we could theorize about it here, but we will never be allowed to know because it's all taking place within the machine's network. But we'll
Mm-hmm.
never be allowed to know. It will never be revealed to us what's going on. if that's the case, we'll be kept in a state of illusion
And we'll be
forever.
too arrogant because we'll be like, oh yeah, there's people working at YouTube. We control it, obviously.
Yeah, but
Um,
do they control it? Like that's the thing. What led them to work there? Were they
did they
inspired
find
by
an
some
ad
crazy?
on some website that would be
Mhm.
connected with all these different internet things?
Yeah. How'd that ad get on there? What chose to put that ad in that recommended video? Who chose to what oh, it was the algorithm, eh? Oh yeah, who controls the algorithm? Oh, the algorithm controls
This
itself
algorithm
kind.
seems to be
Okay.
doing a lot.
The algorithm. It's like people look at like thousands of videos a day now, and it's like that shit is very influential. Say what you want. You could be a very strong mind. I am proud to say I believe to be I have of a quite strong mind where I can kind of curate what comes in with strength. Like, okay, that needs to stay, or that comes in. I also don't consume that much. I limit my consumption. I was reading a new book by Rick Rubin actually, and he's like curate the art that you consume very carefully. Only consume the greatest literature, the greatest architecture. Go to where the greatest art is. When you go on the phone, it's like junk food. But regardless, people are looking at this thousands of times a day. And even if you go into the world, like where was I the other day? I was on a date by myself. I just took a little. I was exploring a part of the world I didn't know, and I just went to this restaurant, got some food, and in the restaurant they're playing the fucking TVs on the walls, and I'm like, damn, I'm watching this. It's going in my mind,
They have TVs
and
around the walls. They have music playing over the speakers.
yeah,
They, do like the seating and the like everything electronically.
hmm
So yeah,
and I was like, okay, this music that's playing is on a it's on a radio. It's on a Spotify radio algorithm curating that. Algorithms curating all this shit. Are we in control? I don't think I think we've lost it. I think we've lost it. I'm on some crazy shit right now, but we may have lost control of the machine and it may
hmm
have grown to be all powerful. I'm just having fun thinking right now. I
yeah.
honestly have a lot of hope for humanity.
This is fun.
Pretty-
I'm looking
It's
forward to
fun though.
the new Max Volante song, "We Lost Control."
Ooh, it's not bad. That's not bad actually. Let me write that down. That's not bad. It's cool. We lost
Yeah.
control.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, that was definitely a fun rabbit hole to go down,
Hell
but
yeah.
yeah, that's everything I had. So I
We
mean,
lost
it's been a
control.
great time.
Facts, bro. Sorry if my rambling. I ramble quite a bit.
No, no, don't apologize. It was a great rambling. It was a thought-provoking rambling.
very good. That's the most important thing.
I'm gonna be thinking about some things after this. So thank you for that.
Don't think too deep, but
Yeah.
also
All
do.
right. Well,
Thank
I
you for having
mean,
me, G.
yeah, thank you for coming on. Is there anything you want to promote? Anything you want to let people know where they can find you?
Hell yeah. Check me out. Maxvolante.com. You can access my catalog. I recommend using Spotify personally, but I'm on every platform. Check me out on Instagram. Follow me volante.max. That's volante.max. Um, that's about it. Peace
Yeah.
and love.
Well, I'll leave
That's
a
what I
link
want
to
to
some of
promote.
that down below. And thank
Harmony.
you again so much for coming on.